What's up everyone, how's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well, and for the past couple of weeks I've been testing out this all-in-one PC. This is basically the HP Envy 34 curved all-in-one. Essentially at the top you have a really nice curved 3440 by 1440 IPS display that has extremely thin bezel, looks really slick in real life. The base of the unit is actually comprised of a fairly powerful overall PC centered around a Core i7-7700T processor, as well as an RX 460 discrete graphics card. And on top of all that, you still have a quad speaker soundbar powered by Bang & Olufsen. So what we're going to do is first take a look at the display quality of the monitor itself. Now, as we mentioned before, the resolution is 3440 by 1440. It is an IPS display, and it also has an anti-glare coating, so you could definitely use this thing in pretty much any lighting condition, whether you have a lot of windows in your room. Shouldn't be a huge problem. The curve on the display, it definitely does a great job of immersing you more into your content, whether you're watching movies or just working on day-to-day activities. It measures about 1900 millimeters in terms of radius, which is fairly standard for a 34-inch display. And the stand itself has a little bit of a tilt feature, which is nice, about 5 degrees forward and about 35 degrees backwards. So a little bit of versatility in terms of viewing vantage points. Now, one of the neat features HP has included in here is the privacy camera. So the webcam itself can actually pop in and out using a mechanical spring. So when you want to use the HD camera, you can just pop it out and then retract it back in when not in use to keep you safe and secure. And it also integrates really nicely into the display. Now, one of my favorite things about the base itself is it actually has built-in wireless charging for your smartphone or any kind of device that supports wireless charging built right into the base. It's located more on the left-hand side of the base, and you can see I have my Samsung S8 charging wirelessly, and it integrates really nicely into this whole package. Now, in terms of the audio quality on the dedicated soundbar powered by Bang & Olufsen, I do have to say that I wasn't that impressed with the overall quality. It's certainly loud enough for most people's home office or studio setup, so that's really not a problem when it comes to volume, but generally it's lacking bass response and mid-range and treble. Overall, it's not going to really rival the quality of a dedicated speaker system that you're going to get, but in most regards, it is better than your average all-in-one PC speakers. Now, surprisingly, there's a decent amount of connectivity options located at the back of the PC. You can actually use the 34-inch monitor as a dedicated display unit, since it has a full-size HDMI 2.0 connection, as well as an HDMI 2.0 output, so you can attach another monitor to have a multi-monitor setup, which is awesome. In addition to that, you have a USB Type-C connection, as well as 4 USB 3.0 Type-A connections, an Ethernet connection, headphone/microphone jack, as well as a 3-in-1 card reader. So there's definitely no short supply of connectivity options on this thing. And being a all-in-one PC, included in the box, you have a low-profile wireless keyboard and mouse combination, both styled in the Envy fashion. Now, here is the internal specification breakdown of our PC that we have configured. It's mostly comprised of the Core i7-7700T processor. It can turbo up to 3.8 gigahertz, and it is a quad-core chip with 8 threads, since it has hyper-threading enabled. 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory is spec'd in here, and we have 256 gigabyte PCI Express memory, as well as 2 terabytes of mechanical storage. You can also pause the video if you want more details about the particular system, but we're going to get into the benchmark results. So firstly, in terms of our CPU performance results, Cinebench, we get 726 points, and on Geekbench, in terms of the single core performance, you're looking at about 4,500. Multi-core is about 15,000. So not too bad in terms of a Core i7 standpoint, certainly not as fast as a desktop grade 7700K processor overclocked to 5 gigahertz. But I think for most people looking for an all-in-one PC, this is definitely more than enough for that purpose. Now, another highlight of the system definitely has to be that built-in PCI Express SSD. So on Crystal Diskmark, we got a score of about 1.6 gigabytes a second in terms of read performance, and about 1.5 gigabytes a second in terms of write. So generally, your boot times and application load up times and install times are going to be fairly fast. You don't have a tremendous amount of room with 256 gigabytes, but it's certainly fast nonetheless. Now, probably probably the weakest factor of this PC is going to be the overall gaming performance of it. Now, if you're going to do 1080p, that's perfectly fine. As you can see from our Valley benchmark at 1080p with ultra details, you got a solid 39.9 average frames per second. But as soon as you go to the proper native resolution of 3440 by 1440 with medium detail settings, you're getting around 23 average frames per second, which in my opinion is not that great. Again, you can't really expect too much from that RX 460, which is generally considered a lower end GPU. Now, in terms of real world gaming examples, I played a lot of Project Cars using the full native resolution, but I turned the detail settings way down to medium, and I got 38.2 average frames per second, minimum FPS scores about 29 using Fraps. So definitely not too bad over there. Additionally, I also tested out Ghost Recon's Wildlands. I got a score about 32.8 average frames per second and about 24.2 minimum frames per second, again with the medium detail settings, but the full native resolution. So it's probably important to note that this is definitely not a dedicated gaming platform. It definitely has some minor gaming capabilities in there because it does have that discrete graphics card, but it's not going to get you the frames per second with the native resolution that you're going to probably desire. And plus, you have to consider that the price tag that this PC comes at, around the $2,000 mark, is certainly pretty good value considering you're getting a very high resolution curved monitor, as well as a fairly powerful Core i7 processor, a very fast SSD, and a whole bunch of other extras that you're typically going to have to pay a lot more for if you're going to buy them individually. So definitely a lot for your money over here, in my opinion. But really, other than that, guys, that's really it. If you have any specific questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Check out the link in the description for all the detailed information about everything we talked about. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Definitely let me know what you think of this all-in-one PC, and we'll see you later. Take care.